Somewhere on the dusty, arid plains of the Syrian flats, the heir of Carthage is ready to face off against his worthy and honorable opponent, HOSKOM. Never played against him before, him or her, assuming him. I am playing as the Seleucids. I have 6 units of silver shield pikemen, 6 units archers, 4 units cataphracts. Cataphracts are gold weapon upgraded, archers are gold weapon upgraded, silver shields are gold, with the exception I have 2 units that have an experience chevron. One of those is my general unit. I'm once again using the strategy of leaving my men out of guard mode. There's a big difference in this match though. My opponent is playing as Macedon. He has 5 units of royal pikemen, 5 units archers, and 5 units companions. All of his units have gold upgrades, except the archers probably just have gold attack. Anyway, his royal pikemen are qualitatively better than my silver shield pikemen, but I have a numeric advantage, plus typically online people really don't ever take their pikemen out of guard mode, and I think this is a real mistake. I hate to come on here and admit it because maybe it'll take away some of my competitive edge. Maybe I can't win without knowing little tricks like this, I don't know. Anyway, you're about to see the Phalanx engagement proper start. It looks like he's going to catch me without my pikes down, but I put my pikes down, and with his units being in guard mode and mine not, it's going to definitely level the playing field. And then the reason I put my general with my silver shields was to bolster the morale of my infantry so that they'll stay in the fight as long as possible. Because if they can stay in the fight and I can ward off cavalry attacks like this one on my right flank, then I'll be able to win this fight. My opponent didn't get the best position there, thank goodness. But I immediately start archer fire onto his cavalry, and I am more than willing to take his companions head on with my cataphracts. So I'm going to charge in and pull out the maces and get down to business. This is definitely not the kind of cavalry fight that my opponent wanted to be in, but I have purposefully brought more infantry than he would have to keep his infantry from being able to peel away and assist. So my general strategy here, I knew that the Macedonians would come with plenty of archers and top quality infantry, but I figured I would use my numeric advantage to give my superior cavalry a chance to win the fight. You'll see though that when I turn guard mode off and having that numeric advantage, it kind of levels the playing field against his royal pikes. My troops are doing extremely well in the fight, and here where I have extra troops, my troops are winning, and I'm going to redirect them to this spot here where my troops are losing. So you can see that his pikes can easily hold mine off on a one-on-one fight. But down here where my units also have a chevron, they're actually beating his head-to-head. So I think it's 58, 50, it's about even. It's about even where my pikes have a chevron. So now that my opponent's cavalry force has been struck down for the most part, I'm just running amok in the backfield. And he tries to bring some regrouped companions in. In fact, actually, that's another unit he had in reserve. He only brought 4 units into the fight against my cataphracts. And my cataphracts are going to pretty easily chew them up. So, again, you're going to see that my strategy was key in winning this victory. You cannot come to a fight as the Seleucids, unless you're fighting against barbarians, planning to win the infantry fight just head-to-head in a straight-up slugfest on even ground. You can win with better positioning. You can win if you bring silver shields and maybe get good positioning and pillar throws and stuff like that, but you're not going to win against Macedon, you're not going to win against Carthage, you're not going to win against Greece or Rome in a just head-to-head infantry fight. You've got to use your cavalry to their advantage. And see, this is where I think Macedon was designed with a slight disadvantage in this game. The Hypaspist would have been an excellent unit to accompany Macedonian cavalry in the battle and help out against these heavier cavalry units where companions don't fare so well. Companions are an excellent unit. They have a very good charge, but they cannot stand up to units like cataphracts in a melee fight. But then again, who can stand up to cataphracts? That's why I brought them. If I could have afforded it, I would have brought 1 unit of Greek cavalry also, or militia cav, for harassment purposes. So my opponent played very well, brought a very sound army, had very good upgrades, and I think did about the best he could. The only thing that I could suggest for him is trying to use his archers more on my cavalry, but see, then again, his archers were outnumbered, so it's a hard call. I really guessed what kind of army my opponent would be bringing, and I really guessed right. And so I have to admit that unless I made some mistakes, which is very possible, I had a very good chance of winning this game, but not because of my opponent's skill. I think my opponent was a very skilled player, and he brought a very sound army, like I said. He was counting on his 5 units of companions to be able to overcome, and he was also counting on the high quality of his royal pikes to overcome my Seleucid infantry, which is normally the case, but like I said, I was playing 2 tricks against him. I had a numeric advantage over his quality, and I also had my general unit in the pikes for morale, and then 2 of my pike units had a chevron, so my pike line was not going to break easily, and then also they were off of guard mode, which meant that they were going to cause a great deal more damage to his pikes. And then my opponent was forced to come in a straight-up cavalry fight, which obviously he can't win against Cataphract. So good game to my opponent, but that isn't it. I have one more match to show you. My opponent wanted another rematch, and I was glad to oblige. I will show you Deja vu? What is this? Another Macedonian army under the control of HOS KOM? It looks like the exact same one. It is. He wanted a rematch, and I can understand why. He was a good player. He didn't lose that battle by much, and so he wanted a chance to go at me again. I was more than happy to give it to him. I love playing against players like this that are skilled and that they play fair, and he was also courteous, wishing me a good game and being kind and presenting the rules and everything else, so I very much enjoyed playing him. This time I brought a trademark Carthage army of mine, and I'm using some similar yet different tactics. I am using 6 gold upgraded Sacred Band Spearmen, which are going to easily chew through his Royal Pikemen. And so my main strategy is to leave my cavalry sitting back just far enough to be out of the range of his archers, but not far enough that they can't stop him from trying to get around and pull off some rear strikes, and my infantry will thus win the fight for me in a head-to-head fight. And my opponent allows this head-to-head fight to take place, and as soon as my pikes keep scooting forward and get a hold of his, it's going to be quick downhill battle for his Royal Pikemen. And once again, this illustrates that Macedon is an excellent faction. Royal Pikemen are very good. They should probably be used with the guard mode off when fighting Sacred Band in order to cause the most damage. Now here my opponent wants a straight-up cavalry fight. This is risky for me, but I brought my trademark 7-pack of cavalry. I don't know if you saw that. I have 4 Sacred Band gold, and 4 round shield cavalry, also gold. The round shields are used for flanking and overwhelming. So basically you can flank your opponent or overwhelm them with numbers, which is what my round shields did there in routing those companions. So the companions of my opponent, again, they have an excellent charge, better than my Sacred Band, but they do not have as good a melee stats, and so they're going to lose there against my Sacred Band cavalry. So there's my cavalry chewing up his, and back over to the infantry line, you can see that my troops have absolutely just pushed right through his, and they're using their superior armor and attack qualities to just absolutely eat his, they ate his pikes alive. And seeing his pike line collapse and my huge mob of cavalry still running amok, my opponent quite honorably admits defeat. So this is a very powerful Carthaginian army that I used here, and really it's hard to defeat with Macedon. It really is, because pound for pound the pikes are better, pound for pound the cavalry's better. So really the only thing you can do is try to avoid a pike fight for as long as possible and mow down as much of the Carthaginian cavalry as you can with archers. What I would suggest for my opponent there was to actually only bring 4 cavalry, which might sound risky to some, but then trade that out and bring all Cretan archers. His Cretan archers would have been massacring my cavalry from long range, and possibly given him an opportunity to get his cavalry around the back of my line to do some hammer and anvil strikes. Otherwise, it was going to be very rough for my opponent. Very good game to my opponent. Again, don't think that was a bad Macedonian army. It is a good army. But I think that this video does a great job of illustrating some of Macedon's weaknesses when compared against Carthage, which you can definitely see the weakness against Carthage as an infantry weakness. And then their weakness against the Seleucids is obviously a cavalry weakness. So know how to play your faction's strengths against your opponent's weaknesses. That's one good way to win battles online. So I hope this has illustrated some lessons for you. I could go on, but for those of you who want me to be fair and upright, I guess, Macedon does have strengths as well. Their strengths lie in their missiles and their companion cavalry, and their royal pikes aren't bad, but they're a good holding force. So again, good game to my opponent, and one last announcement I will make. Sorry, I'm going on. I do plan on doing a new campaign. It is either going to be the Seleucid campaign on Rome Total War, or it is going to be a Sassanid campaign on the BI, or you can vote for an Alexander campaign on the Alexander expansion. The way you vote, and hear me out here because you have to do it right, the way you vote is by sending me a personal message, not posting on my profile, not putting it in the comments. Send me a personal message. Yes, this is going to fill up my box a lot, but that's the only way I can really count the votes so that we can get an honest count. The voting will last starting from the time this video uploads until the end of Monday night my time, which is Central Time, Greenwich Mean -6. So, please put in your votes. I'll be glad to oblige whatever the majority is, and I will go ahead and continue a couple of episodes of the Carthage campaign to get some closure, and then we will move on to the new one. Hope you're ready for it, and I hope you enjoyed these videos. Heir of Carthage, signing off.